But first, before you knew it, Max grabbed what looked like wooden swords from a nearby table and tossed one at you. You reached for the sword confidently, only to realize you tripped over your own foot and fell face first on the ground. Ouch. Are you alright? Here, let me help. Ow. Thanks. We're using swords, but I thought you used that. Well, yeah, I might be arranging myself, but all fighters receive basic training in fencing. Ooh. Thus, on guard. They cannot assume the same pose you've seen musketeers or similar characters would take, then deliver a swing towards you. You quickly pulled the sword up in what you felt like a defensive stance and braced for impact. The swords clapped loudly and they collided. Strangely enough, you felt yourself flinching from the strike, but your stance never budged. Well, that's not really a stance, but I can see what you were trying to do here. Not bad, actually. Now, try hitting me as hard as you can. Are you sure? Yep, don't worry. I can take it. Just wanted to gauge your strength regardless. Max chuckled as he assumed a defensive stance himself, which looked much sturdier than what you attempted. You weren't really sure how to grip a sword. The closest thing you ever did was trying to wax something with a plastic tube. But you just held the sword with one hand and swung it up and down against Max, who stared at you in confusion as the sword thunk harmlessly. Whoa now, that's not a hit, Dave. Yeah, I know. I see how it is. Well, that's enough having fun. What do you mean? Well, fencing techniques are mostly useful in duels. But will everybody be doing each other respectfully in a war? No, right? Yeah, people tend not to follow those rules, especially with the likes of the evil king himself. Right. So I can show you a basic version of how it can go out in the field. Watch closely. Hello. Today we will continue with Hero's Advent. So in the last video, we got to meet Alessia. She's been taking care of Dave. And some days later, we got to meet Max, who's visiting Alessia. As soon as we meet Max, we notice that he's been giving Dave the cold shoulder. He doesn't talk to him, doesn't look at him. It seems as though he avoids him. We later found out that Dave apparently there's a prophecy that one day a hero from a different dimension will come into their world to save it from the Dark King. So I think the reason why Max hasn't been so welcoming in Dave is because Dave doesn't really look the part of a hero to him. Compared to Max, Dave is much smaller and he's much smaller and he's skinny. He's not tall and he doesn't have the amount of muscles that Max has. So that's probably the reason why Max has been giving him the cold shoulder over the days. Because he doesn't have the appearance of a hero, big muscles and being tall and stuff like that. So again, it's more than being a hero than having physical appearance. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and see what happens next. And please take him to the academy. Keep him safe. Train him to be one of your warriors if you must. He may yet to be the hero of prophecy, and even were he not, it would not rest well in my mind were he to come to harm. That's a tall order, but that kid seems to mean a great deal to you. Very well, I will take him with me back to the Gallantier. It's going to take a lot of favors to get him enrolled without being questioned. I believe my name still carries weight among the circles. If you tell them my predictions, they should make accommodations for him. As you say, Lady Spring. Lady, what now? Damn it. You curse at yourself silently as you barely cover your mouth in time. You felt chills down your spine as Matt seemed to be looking directly at you, though he didn't seem to say anything. Is something the matter, Max? Well, it's nothing, ma'am. Just wanted to mull it over for a bit. Well, that was a strange dream, all right. You choked out yourself nervously, still unsure what to make of what you overheard last night. After having breakfast, Elisa told you that there weren't really any urgent tasks or chores for the time being, so you decided to head outside the house for a bit. Your eyes were wandering when you noticed something out of the ordinary. On the right side of a homestead, you could see Matt setting up some sort of makeshift training range. Though it looked more fitted for bows or guns, and guns even existed in this world. After setting up the training dummy, Matt put some distance in between before pulling out his weapon, but from afar looked like some kind of crossbow. Though it was almost as big as those sniper rifle guns you remember seeing in movies or video games. You weren't sure how he's doing it, but after charging of the crossbow, he pulled the trigger and delivered 2 consecutive shots towards the training dummy. You could barely hear the arrows flying through the air when you saw the first one nail the dummy dead on the head, while the second one grazed past his head and landed on the fence post behind. Whoa, talk about skilled. Hey, Dave White. Don't be a stranger. Come. Okay. You hesitantly approached as the canine gestured towards himself. He expected no less, but the sudden change in attitude was still drawing to witness. Hey, how you holding up? I'm alright. So, why didn't you speak to me at first the other days? That. I suppose I do owe you an apology for giving you the cold shoulders like so. Normally it wouldn't take this much for one to put 2 and 2 together, but since you're not from this land, I presume you aren't aware of the situation here either. Yeah, I'm afraid not. Like, just this alone is always a lot to take in for me. You just at yourself when the canine had a weird look on his face. Huh? So you're saying you could take in a lot more in if done differently? What? Never mind. Forget what I said. Okay, so, well, it's a long story. Quite complicated, even. Perhaps in time I will tell you more about it in detail. For the time being, you just need to know that there's an ongoing war against that same king we both know of. And it's a war that's being waged on many fronts. Now, even the terrains aren't the only thing that's treacherous. It's getting harder to trust people in the same land, let alone outsiders such as you. That said, since Elisa seems to trust you that much, I'm willing to make an exception. I trust you won't ever betray that trust. I wouldn't want something like that happening to her. Yeah, well, she was the one to save me and looked after my own safety and well-being so far. I don't think that could happen, right? Perhaps not. Yeah. Actually, no, not here specifically. I just happened to have some free time to kill this morning. It's always good to put some practice in the offer and keeping your skills sharp, and it's quite important, not just in my line of work, I believe. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, are you sure about that, Dave? Unless you want me to put on a show, becoming a fighter is not for everyone, you know. You're right, but if this land is in peril, like Lisa said, it's best that I'll learn how to fight to defend myself, right? That's a good point. Perhaps I could show you some basic stuff or two. What do you do? Max, well, What are you waiting for? Hit me. Dave unleashes a fury of blows. Max blocked the attack. Here's try. Pay close attention to your enemy's movement and the amount of damage you're doing to each other. Dave uses tackle. Max resists the hit. Also pay attention to what skills or items they might be using so you can know what to expect. They took a defensive stance. Dave's guarding. Dave's tackle has come off cooldown. If you think you've been off more than you can chew, fleeing might be a good option. Hey, don't run off this yet. They slashes at Max with their claws. Max dodges at the last second. They lower their guard. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Well done. You won. It was a fun experience. It was already lunchtime before you knew it. You and Max rested by the porch for the time being after the training session. So, what do you say, Dave? Think you're cut out to be a fighter? I guess so. I'd love to learn how to fight so that I could defend myself. Maybe others too. Like your spirit. Well, Sheldon, maybe you could be a nice addition to the guild after all. I see you boys have become fast friends. Max nodded at Lisa and she gave you both the usual mugs of cold water. I guess you could say that, ma'am. Well then, let's wait. You boys better come along now. You both joined her for another lovely meal of the day. Elisa seemed a lot chattier this time around. You also felt quite happy now that you've joined them both in their bantering. It was probably the best time you've had for quite a while. That was great. What else? I think Max invited me on a foraging trip next afternoon. It was quite nice. Even though he had me walking around a lot more than Alicia would, but he did show me some more places I could look for extra herbs or plants to forage. So maybe I couldn't even impress Alicia next time around. And the thing I thought Max hated me at first was nothing. He's been really nice to me, even trained me again yesterday. Even though the way he trained me was rather tough, I don't think I would like to do 100 push-ups every day. Speaking of which, I'm leaving for the city in 2 days' time as well. It's hard to believe it, but I'm actually pretty excited. Alright, that's enough talking to myself. Maybe I need to write a diary or something. I don't think anyone back there would believe this story anyway. There was a sinking feeling in your chest as you recognized the stone corridors around you. It must be happening again. Huh? Echoes of screams and fleeting laughter sent chills down your spine as you barely noticed a dark figure looming on the far end of the dark hall. It was smiling. You took a step forward, only to find yourself falling into another unseen pit. What? You could see it before you again, the endlessly spiraling abyss. You must have been falling for a long time. What is? You bit your tongue as you caught a glimpse of what looked like a gigantic creature. Help me! Its mouth grew wider and wider, engulfing your form as you dove deeper into the abyss. What? The creature spoke suddenly with its horrifying timbre. Huh? Wake. Huh? Dave, wake up. What? You awoke, finding yourself drenched in sweat. You take a moment to look around the bedroom, darting your eyes from one corner to the other. Dave, are you alright, dear? You started as a gentle voice spoke to you. It took you a moment to realize it didn't come from something hostile. Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. You muttered shakily, eyeing the body laying next to your bed. Sorry for making you worry, Elisa. I had a nightmare again. Oh, poor dear. It's alright. Elisa whispered, patting your head. Her soft touch really helped you calm down. But a nightmare, you say? You looked at her again. She looked quite concerned, despite the gentle smile on her face. Perhaps it's a sign. A sign? It's nothing. Here, clean yourself up a bit, would you? You took up the small towel she handed you and dried off the sweat from your neck and face, especially your forehead. Thanks, Elisa. Sorry for bothering you as well. Did I oversleep again? No. In fact, I was going to let you sleep for a while after last night's errand, but you were shouting and whispering so much. I had to wake you up early. It wasn't something you thought you'd get used to, but before you knew it, your tail was wagging at her gentle caress, and you breathed a sigh of relief as he squished your ear. It's nothing. It's all right, Elisa. Thank you. You could hear her chuckling as she snapped out of your trance. You sheepishly nudged her hand away. Breakfast where you want to eat. Then you can take it easy for a bit. She smiled as she left your side, stopping by the door for a moment. Max is outside. You want to help him. He's going to chop some woods for the furnace. It'll be at the garden if you need me. Okay, thanks again, Lisa. You put on your clothes and head for the dining room where your breakfast sat on the table. Oh, sweet. It's grilled chicken and eggs. Don't forget to wash your hands, Dave. Elisa said from outside. Got it. You quickly washed your hands on the sink. All done. You sat at the table and delved into the meal. It's already been 2 weeks since you arrived here out of the blue. It was very terrifying and overwhelming at first, but now everything seemed quite alright to you. You got a lot more accustomed to the new lifestyle at Elisa's place, even feeling more comfortable with your new body and all that. In fact, you are quite excited for the days ahead, although there's still that prophecy thing Elisa told you about. If you can recall correctly, it was something about a hero coming from another dimension that could defeat an evil king and restore peace to the land. Hate to say it, but that's still a bit too much for me right now. What is? Yeah. Jeez, man, she scared the crap out of me. You groaned, playfully hitting him in the stomach. Well, you were zoning out for a while now, Dave, chewing that chicken bone like so. I know it's tasty. There's still some left if you're hungry for more. Ones with the meat still intact for you to chew on. Ugh, shut up. You feel yourself blushing hard as you glance away from him. You knew what he meant was different, but you couldn't help thinking of the alternative. I'm still new to all this, you know. Well, since you're done chewing your bones, maybe you can help me finish some work. Yeah, sure. You pushed him out of the way as you left the table and proceeded to clean your dishes. You couldn't help but chuckling to yourself a little. Max has been a lot friendlier towards you since the first days you met. Sure, he might have been like that after that talk, but still felt genuine to you, if he tended to treat you like a younger brother a lot of times. It was strange, but it still felt quite nice, given that you never really had an older brother figure in your life up to that point. When you finished, Max had already gone outside. You followed suit to find him chopping some wood, shirtless. You can't help but stare at his body and fluffy chest. You just wanted to give him a big hug and bury your face among his fur. You can help me out anytime you're done staring, Dave. Okay? You approached him, flustered as ever. What can I do to help? Well, to start with, there are woods that need chopping. There are chickens to feed and water to collect from the well. What should I do? I'll go feed the chickens. Sure thing. Have a good one. Max waved at you as he went back to chopping wood. You headed to the backyard after taking a grain basket from their shed. You watched Elisa feed the chickens before. Surely this would be simple, right? God, hey, come here, you. You yelled as your feet started to hurt. You've been running here and there trying to feed the chickens in the backyard. You remember seeing them eating straight from Elisa's hand before. How did she manage that? Dave. You hear Max calling from the side. You start to catch your breath. You don't have to run around so much, you know. Just sprinkle the seeds a bit. They'll flock right over when they're hungry. You decide to follow his advice. Surely enough, it worked, but only after you have left the backyard. You're convinced that the chickens must be scared of you for whatever reason. Eventually, you sat by the porch exhausted. Done away? Yeah. You tried to avoid looking at him too much. Boys, lunch is ready. Lisa opens the door as he called for you. Come on in and eat before it gets cold. Yes, ma'am. Max followed Lisa inside. You took a moment to catch her breath before heading in as well. It's quail season, so it's baked quail with some vegetable soup for lunch. Look delicious as always, Elisa. Oh, thank you. I mean a lot, but be sure to fill up. I'll do that. I'll do just that. Let's add a whole quail to his plate. You too, Dave. Eat up. Lisa looked to you as he said gently, Yes, ma'am. You ate 4 whole quails and 3 bowls of soup. You usually eat a lot less when you were human. Perhaps your appetite changed along with your body. Stuffed, you lay back along the chair. Elisa was clearing the table when you suddenly felt something pain your belly. Feeling nice and full, Dave? He ran his hand along your belly. His gesture made you blush again. It felt so nice, but you quickly swatted his hand away. Can you stop doing that? He yelled as you sat up from the chair, going to Elisa to help her with the dishes. Ah, thank you, dear. But you don't have to help me, you know. That's all right. You always cook this meal. This is the least I can do. Well, fair enough. By the way, I do have a favor to ask for you. Oh, sure. What can I do to help? Can you go with Matt to the woods after this? I need some herbs for cooking. Oh, all right. I thought Matt's already went foraging yesterday. Oh, that's true, but he's going to hunt some wild borax for tomorrow's rations. Now that you mention it, tomorrow's the day you left for the city after all. And I would feel a lot safer if you were with him, you see? I understand, ma'am. I'll be sure to bring back some extras for you as well. Thank you, Dave. Try not to wander too far off, though, alright? The woods tend to get rather unsafe at later hours. I don't want anything bad happening to you. I will, ma'am. Don't you worry. You ready to go, Dave? Max asked as both of you prepare for the short trip. When you are, he said, grabbing the leather pouch from your room. Max was already waiting for you by the doorway. You could see him in his usual adventure attire, his trusty crossbow resting upon his back. You wondered if you could bring something to defend yourself. Then again, you're just out picking herbs. It's not like you need a weapon for such a trivial task. After saying goodbye to Elisa, you and Max headed into the depths of the forest. After going past the favorite pathway, you began to see some clearings. We'll meet up here before sunset, okay? Okay. I know Lisa probably said this already, but don't go too far off the beaten path, okay? I won't be able to help you if you're lost in some forest caves. Yeah, I'll be careful. You too, Max. I can take care of myself, Dave. Unlike a certain someone. Yeah, I know you're strong. Now go away. Those Borixes are gonna hunt themselves. After Max left, you took the usual path off the clearing to start looking for herbs. You wandered to the forest depths and found some herbs along the tree lines you recognized. You wandered a little further around the ancient tree, close to the cliff, and found some herbs. You wandered even further off the beaten path and found some herbs among the berry shrubs. You've already found what you were looking for. You could call it a day, and perhaps you could search for more. You feel like you've gathered enough for now. You quickly make your way back to the cliff, and as expected, Max was standing there with a dead Borax behind him. Done gathering the herbs? Yep, how about you? Well, this should be enough for our trip tomorrow. He pointed to Borax. Whoa, yeah, that should be enough, so should we go back now? Not yet, I want to show you something. Come. He followed Max up towards the forest hill through a small dirt road. It seems like someone's been going this way for quite some time now. Well, yeah, I always go up here whenever I can. You'll see why in a moment. Well, yeah, I always go up here whenever I can. You'll see why in a moment. The path led to a cliff overlooking the city and a mountain range from afar. The sun was just beginning to set upon the horizon of the sky turned an orange hue. You can see the stars appearing around the edges where the sky is dark enough to make them shine. It's beautiful. It's magical. You could say this is the main reason why I keep visiting Elisa, aside from her cooking. Seeing this makes me hopeful. It's like all my problems went away, even just for a moment. You have problems, Max? Well, everyone does. Mine is. It's a bit complicated. He gazed upon the stars. Somehow, look at his stoic eyes seemed sad and gloomy for a moment. Well, whatever happens, I'll be right by your side, Max. Thanks, pal. You sat there with him until the sun had completely set. You gathered your things and proceeded to go home with him. You talked with Max all the way to Lisa's house, cracking jokes along the way where appropriate. The fireflies were out and helped illuminating the way back. As you got closer home, you could smell something delicious wafting from the kitchen. Your stomach began to rumble. Max chuckled and gave your head another pat. You blushed, breaking from his touch, and ran towards the house, leaving Max behind for the moment. Welcome home, dear. She greeted you warmly. Ah, I see you brought the herbs as I asked. Her smile grew brighter as she looked into your satchel. Come in, dinner's ready for both of you. You both felt like digging into those dishes right away, but she stopped you on the way, reminding you to go wash up before eating dinner. You protested a bit, but eventually gave in, whimpering as you went. All right, you can eat first, Dave. I can tell your ears perked up as you was to the table, with your tail wagging endlessly along the way. At least wash your hands first, young man. Okay, ma'am. I'll go wash up first then. You cleaned the dirt off your hands and sat at the table, taking 2 quails to your plate. Don't forget to save some for Max. You nodded to Elisa before delving in. Max returned after a quiet while and ate his portion. In the finishing the meal, Elisa told you to go wash up and rest up, as tomorrow will be quite a long journey. You went to the bathroom as Max stayed to discuss the plans for tomorrow with Elisa. You washed up for a bit before stepping into the hot bath. The hot water immediately soothed your tense muscles. You rested your back against the tub, dozed off after a moment. When you finally came to, you stayed there for a bit before stepping back out and dried up. You dried yourself with a towel after shaking the water off of your fur, wearing it as you left the bathroom. The kitchen was dark and empty as you passed by. Maybe they were all asleep already. You slid into your bed after putting on your underpants. Your mind was always drowsy from a day of hard work, and yet somehow you felt restless. Tomorrow's a bed day. You couldn't help wondering what kind of people would sort of adventures await you in the city. You drifted off to sleep after pondering for a while. Are you sure we have to go, Dave? He looked to Elisa as he spoke. She seemed sad even though she was smiling. Well, you're the one who said I needed to go to the city, ma'am. For safety and to receive training and all that. He replied, go over your luggage one last time before moving to the front door. Ah, you're right, just... You could feel Elisa softly caressing your hand as she said, I hope you will always stay for just a little longer. Things will get lonely here without you two around. Ma'am, you muttered as he leaned in for a hug. Well, I'm going to miss you both. You could hear her sniffling ever so slightly under her voice. You made sure to hold back your own tears. We've only been here for 2 weeks, and yet somehow it always felt like years. Don't worry, ma'am. We'll come visit you when the time is right. You walked towards the dirt road where your vehicle awaited. It was a traditional horse-drawn carriage, only that it was hovering with two of those weird beast creatures hollering the entire thing. You've actually taken a closer look at them after taking a while to muster up your courage. It turned out that they weren't really that hostile. They looked very strange, but somewhat like a mix of horses and wolves at the same time, which you still found very intimidating. Max was at the front, tending to said creatures at the front. Go on and put your stuffs in the back, Dave. Alright. He hesitantly left Elisa's side, keeping a close eye on those creatures. Are you sure those things won't bite me? First off, they're called hoof. Dave. And second, if you handle them well, they won't bite you much. Max smiled as he turned to the hooves. The growling noises they made still freaked you out a bit. Max didn't seem to mind it one bit, though. In fact, they seemed to be fooling around with him even, like pets with their owner. You opened the carriage door and placed your luggage inside. The hooves gave you a suspicious look. Ah! When the beast growled at you as you went back to the front, you tripped and fell trying to move away. Ma'am, are you actually sure he's the hero? Max sighed as he looked at Elisa. Well, come what may, he still has a long journey ahead of him. Of that I'm certain. And this world be where you come in. And this would be where you come in, yes? I understand, but alone? I can't just be his personal babysitter, ma'am. Well, I know you might not want to hear this, but Elisa whispered hesitantly. Perhaps you could call on them for help. Max stared at her for a moment. He seemed to give the idea some consideration, but it was clear he didn't like it one bit. I don't know, Elisa, Max seemed reluctant, but Elisa was quick to suss him. Just give her a chance for all our sake. I know things have been a lot different over the years, but together I believe you can pull us off. She then gave him another head pat and a gentle squitch on his chin. Even from afar you could see him wagging his tail. You chuckled to yourself and saying your phone had already died by then. This would have been a nice moment to immortalize. Already, Max? He decided to call him over after a moment. Okay. Well, I guess this is it. Elisa smiled as you and her friend joined in a full-on embrace. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you for everything. If you hadn't found me in the forest and looked after me, I don't know where I'd be right now. Don't mince it, dear. Just make sure you take care of yourself. You can feel her hand running along your head fluff before giving you the same chin-scratching treatment Max received. You stayed with the embrace for a while. Her touch really soothed your troubled mind, as always. Remember to eat well and train hard. Keep at that, and I'm sure you'll become the greatest hero this land has yet to witness. Understood. I won't let you down, I promise. As the embrace parted, you hopped onto the carriage. Max was already seated at the front. You could see him waving at Elisa. Until next time, Elisa. Until next time, boys. Safe travels. Way to go, Dave. Get the camera final logging before. Get the camera a final logging look before closing the door. Yep, that's alright. Giddy up. Max finally sent the hooves and the killers began to gain momentum. Elisa's homestead soon faded into the distance. So that was a prologue for Hill's Advent. So Dave and Max are off the scene now. I'm gonna miss Alicia. She was very kind towards Dave and very supportive, and Dave was very grateful to her for taking care of him, and he was very helpful towards her by doing all the chores and ground to the floors and helping her pick up herbs and berries and tending to the chickens. And it seems as though Max is finally being more friendly towards Dave, even though the only reason he is right now is because of the talk Alicia gave him. Hopefully, as the game goes on, Max will have more faith in Dave, because even while they were preparing to leave, Max still had his concerns about Dave, and he expressed them to Alicia, wondering if she was sure that Dave was the actual, real, true hero who would defeat the evil king. So he still has doubts about Dave. Again, I think the reason he has doubts about him is because of his appearance. I mean, he does look kind of like a kid, even though he's like college age. I mean, he's not tall or have big muscles, or he doesn't seem to be brave. I mean, he's small and frail, and just kind of gets scared easily. But so hopefully, as the game goes on, as time goes on, Max will have more faith in Dave, and hopefully Dave will prove himself to Max that he has the qualities of the true hero. So that's it for now. Like I said, in the next video we'll begin day 1. The information for the game is in the description box below, including the Twitter for the creator, the Discord, as well as the Patreon link where you can support the game and get early access to updates. So, thanks for watching. See you later.